So, okay, let me share my screen again. So, like I said, we've talked about the theoretical part of the time series analysis. So tonight we are going to be going to the practical part of it. So that's why I sent you two data sets to our group. So we're going to be building model, the time series model tonight. So let's move down to the business. So if you download that data, you are going to see this form of data set. This form of data set, anytime you are hearing the word time series data set, is a data set that they've collected over the time, over the long period of time. It's maybe 5 years, it's maybe 10 years, it's maybe 20 years, it's maybe 50 years, a long period of time. And then the time series data can be a weekly data, can be a daily data, can be a monthly data, can be a yearly data. So you're dealing with the time series. Your clients can come to you and just bring you a particular data set. Okay, I want you to help me fit a model to this. And if you're a researcher, a data scientist, you should not discard any data set. Once you have that data set, after you've observed the data set, is it a time series data set? Is it a regression data set? What type of data set? What is the behavior of this data set? So once you look at the data set in form of that, in that angle, so you will know the particular analysis, the particular model that you're going to watch, you're going to be looking or working towards. So in time series analysis, like I said the other time, is that the first thing is you have to plot the time plot. The time plot will show you the trend, the behavior of your data set. So after plotting the time plot, then you are going to carry out a test of stationarity. A test of stationarity, and I mentioned that we have augmented the Kifula test, DDS test, and then we have the Philippe test. We have several tests for checking for the stationarity. Stationarity is more or less like our checking our normality of the data set, whether this particular data is normal or is not. So, but in time series, we call it a stationary. Okay, when your data is stationary, so that means that it is ready for to build a model. So your data set must be stationary before you can use it to build any particular model. So in this now we have the year, then we have the months, January, February, March, April up to December. So that means that they collected this data set. It's a monthly data set that they collected over a year. So this particular year I'm seeing is like 20 years from 2004 to 2023. So that is 20 years. So this particular data that you are seeing here is a data of 20 years that they've collected over time. So we're going to be dealing with this particular data set. We're going to be building model with this data set, and then we're going to be checking some metrics in selecting the best or the better model that is suitable for this particular data set. So in your own case, they may give you a particular data set of cases of infectious diseases, and then they want you to check, okay, what particular model fits in for this infectious disease that can describe the totality of this disease, that can forecast. In time series, we do forecast, so that can forecast. So we're going to be taking different forecast method. Remember, I told us the last time that we have the regressive moving average, we have auto-regressive integrated moving average, we have the seasonal auto-regressive moving average, which we call the SARIMA. We have the SARIMA model, we have the ARIMA model, we have the AMA model. So we have a lot of model, and there is another one called Prophet. I don't know if you know Prophet. Prophet is developed by the Facebook, so they normally use in forecasting. So we are going to be checking how we can use Prophet now to forecast this particular data set. So if you don't have that data set, please endeavor to download it. Okay, let's look at our R. So this particular code, it took me, let's say, it took me like 4 to 5 hours because I was just banging error. So I keep checking it. And then the funniest part is that I didn't know that I've not saved this particular code. So I just closed my system. So it was tonight I'm trying to look at, okay, before I come for tonight's class, let me quickly check my code and see that it is still intact. And I discovered that the code is no longer there again. That I did not save it. So I have to start again and have to rewrite the code. So can you still hear me? Are you still with me, please?
Yes, sir.
Are we still together? Ibukun, Mommy, Adebisi? Okay, so initially I wanted to use an input data or in R, which is the year in R. I wanted to use the input data, which is the year passenger data set in R. So after that, I just thought of, oh, the last class, Ibukun mentioned something that we should look for a data set entirely that we can use to practice. So I have to go online, okay, what available data can I use to train some of my students and time series? So they brought out several data, the stock exchange. So I tried to enter CBN website, but I can't find a data center. So I have to go to the WHO. Then at the end of the day, I was able to extract out the US data set for COVID-19. I think they collected it daily. So I have to just put it in monthly for myself and just for us to just find something to work with tonight. So we're going to be using that data set. So in time series, you need these packages. If you are the one that you have been following us before, you don't need the TD inverse in your what in your what's it called in your R. If it is the same R that you have been using over the time, so you what's it called our intermediate class and the beginner class, we have the CD inverse. So I think what you need now is lubricate the lubricate. Then you need the forecast, you need the time series, and then you need the profit. So those are the things that you're going to be installing in your data sets. Well, you can install everything as one. Just use the C. Remember that the C is just the concatenate. So you concatenate, you are given the R function that the install the package, install the TD inverse, go by then followed by the lubricate, and then followed by the time series forecast, and then and the like. So give me just 1 minute, please. Okay, so I'm back. So as I was saying, so you need all these packages just for us to be on the same page. The reason why you even need TD inverse here is that without TD inverse, this particular what's it called? This pipe, I call it pipe. It can't work without the package of TD inverse. So this is simply one. So, but in time series, we normally convert it to the long format. In the long format, it's going to take your data as in form of this the year, let's say 2024. Then it will give you months in form of then followed by the month. Let's say I have October, then followed by the date, day. Let's say day one. So this is what we call the long format. So in time series data, it is advisable to put your data set in the long format. So you can quickly convert the short format to the long format using a little code in R programming language. So we're going to be doing that tonight. So if your data, if you have a time series data, your client or you are a researcher, you've collected your data over the year that is now what a short form, it is advisable to convert it to the long format. So let's move on. So now let me quickly load all these packages into my R so that I have all this installed already. So let me just load it from the library. We control R, control R, control R, control R, control R. So once I do that, I'm going to have all the packages here. This is my R consult. I'm going to have all the packages here. This is the library TD verse. the library for the lubricant date, then the library for the forecast, the library for the time series, and then the library for the profit. So I have everything inside my what? Inside my R. Then, you know, it's because you are now in advanced class. That's why I don't want to be saying you have to do get working directory. Remember now, our guest working directory will tell you the directory that you're working with, your the current directory of your system. So now my current directories I'm working with is this. So this is the user, the del, then the document. Then inside the document, I have a file called Ujo. Then inside that file, I have another file called the DDS. Inside that DDS, I have another file called mention learning slide. So this is where I kept all the slide and codes that we've been using in this machine learning class. So that is where I put my data sets. So now I want to load in my data set. Remember, I've saved the data. I've saved my data set. This particular one that you are seeing here, I've saved it in the what? In the Excel format, which is the I save it with the CSV comma delimited. So I'm going to read that inside my what? Inside my R now. Inside my R. So if I do that, I've set my current working directory. Then my data now. Let me space it so that we can it will not be jam pad. So let me save it. Let me space this rather. So if I run this now, Control R. So immediately I run it, so you will see that there is no error. So that means that this particular data set has already inside my R programming language. So I have this data set already inside my R programming language. So just check the heading. Let's get the first six. So if you look at this now, look at this. So I have the data inside my R already. This is the year. This is the month January to December. So I have them inside my what? Inside my R. Are you still with me, please? I want to be sure that we're together. Ibukun Mami Adebisi, are you still with me?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
IBK, are we still on the same page?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was
Mami
just
Adebisi, are we still on the same page?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So please, let's be on the same page so that we can keep moving on. Okay, so let's go on now. Don't mind my network. So I just want to be confirming that we're on the same page because this is practical. Okay, so after getting that, then remember that I told us that we have to convert our date to the what? To the long format. To the long format. So by doing this, so we have the date, my data set, pass it to the pivot longer. The pivot underscore longer is an R is a code in R that we normally to assign the long format. So now I have the column to be the date, the year, then the name to be monthly, then the value. So that means that it's going to it's going to put it in form of the year and then what the month. I don't have day because I have it in months. So then the value at all this one. Let's say under January I have 6,920. Under January 2024, January 2004, January 2005, I have this. January 2006, I have this. So it's continued like that. So this is the code that we normally use in time series to convert the short data format to your what to the long format. So let's quickly run through that code. Control R, Control R, Control R, Control R, Control R. So once you have it, we have it already. So let me check the first six of that long data set. If you look at this now, can you see the screen now?
Yes.
yes,
Can you see the screen? Okay, so let's move on. So let's move on. Uh, network to So don't mind my network tonight. So let's move on. So I have this now. So this is now the format of where that we can use in time series. Look at the way we put the dates now. So this is the one that you are seeing here is what we call the time series plot graph. So the first thing is we have to plot the data set. So now plotting the data set, remember that uh we are going to convert it to the time series. What did I mean by that is that you are going to specify. If you look at this now, this 2020 2004 years, I'm telling the R that I'm starting the plot from 2004, but to move uh one that you are seeing here is yearly. From 2004, you can move 2000 and move 2005, move 2006, move to 2007. Then the frequency are the months. So I'm using 12 months. If you are the one that you are using quarterly, so that means that it's going to be 4. So quarter is going to be 4. So me, I'm using month. So by the time we run this now, we're going to have control R, control R. Please, if you can't hear me again, please let me know, please. So by the time we do that, let's quickly plot the graph. You can use auto plots. Yes, you can use auto plot, and then you can use time series plot yourself. So anyone that you like, is still the same answer. So auto plot, let's plot this graph. Can you see this graph now? Can you
Yes,
see this
sir.
graph?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes, sir.
this is so we started with this. This is the starting point, and the graph move like this. So this particular graph that you are seeing here is what we call the time series plot graph. This one that you're seeing here is what we call the time series plot graph. So after getting this plot graph, don't base your assumption or don't base your belief that okay, me looking at this particular data is what is stationary. You have to carry out the test for stationarity, which we are going to be checking. Remember that in our previous class, I mentioned that we have a lot of tests. We have the augmented Dickey-Fuller test, we have the Philip-Perron test, we have the KPSS test. So we have a lot of tests. So, but tonight we are going to be using augmented Dickey-Fuller test to check for our stationarity. You have to check whether your data is stationary or not. So if your data is stationary, oh, fine, good. Then you can use that particular data to build a model. But if you discover that your data is not stationary, so that means that you have to make it stationary by difference it. Different means that you have to differentiate. Remember, from the simple calculus, we have to differentiate your data set. So immediately you differentiate your data set, you are still going to run the augmented Dickey-Fuller test again to confirm that that data set is what is stationary now. So if you still check it again and you still discover that it is not stationary, you are still going to differentiate the second time. So you are going to be differentiating it until you reach a stationarity point. It's very, very important. At that point that you now reach the stationarity point, so it is not that data set that you can now use to build your what? Your model, that you can now use to build a what? A model. So let's quickly check for the stationarity. So control R, then we move to the augmented Dickey-Fuller. Now, immediately you load in your T series from your library. Immediately you load it with your T series. T series will come with the augmented Dickey-Fuller test. So it's going to come with the augmented Dickey-Fuller test. So the ADF dot test, that is the short form for the augmented Dickey-Fuller, ADF dot test. Look at this. This is the data that we put in the time series format. So the control R, once you press the control R, if you look at this warning, the warning message here is that in ADFD test of this, the p-value smaller than print p-value. So what is this is trying to tell me is that I have a p-value that is very, very small. Very, very small in the sense that it is less than 0.05. Remember that the level of the significance is 0 alpha, which is 0.05. Now let's look at this particular result of the augmented Dickey-Fuller. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
good. Mommy Adebisi, can you see the screen? All right. Now, if
Yes,
you
sir.
look at this now, what you just need here is check this particular p-value. If you look at this p-value is the same thing as your significant that you normally see in SPSS that they will write as SIG, which that is where you want to use to check whether the test is significant or not. So if you look at this p-value here, the p-value here is 0.01. So anytime your p-value is less than the level of significant alpha, which is 0.05, so that means that that particular data set it is stationary. So that means that you've attained the stationarity point. So, but if you have a p-value that is not that is greater than 0.05, that means that that particular data is not stationary. So you have to difference it and get your stationarity. Now, in the second data that I sent to the group, you are going to be extracting them yearly by yearly. So that one is a long work for you. But even after this camp, you can still be making use of that data just for the practice. So and then from there, I want to say this. So I want to say this that by now you should have confidence in yourself that you are a data scientist. Let them bring that particular analysis to you. You will handle it because you have the foundation already. So it's just for you to be building based on the problem that they are bringing. You are going to building on it. You are going to building on it. So I don't want to hear that, okay, they brought me this particular research and I rejected it because I don't know it. No, you have the knowledge now to handle any form of data. And then if you are not getting it or you encounter any problem, remember that I'm still in Nigeria. If I thought I'm not in Nigeria, you can send me a DM. We're going to look at it together because you are one of the people that I can point out to that, okay, oh, I'm too busy, I don't have time, but I have someone that have trained that can handle this particular problem. And you just do it and get your money. And then please and please don't I would like to say don't on the page. Let me just put it like that. If they ask you any particular analysis that you want to do for anybody and you are using our programming language, it should not charge the amount that you are charging for the SPSS click and go. Because writing a code is very is time consuming and it requires you thinking. So please and please, so let's move on. So once you get this p-value, so that means that 0.01 is less than 0.05. So that means that this particular data set is stationary. So we've attained the stationarity. So now, let's say for instance now, the data is not stationary. So I think I have a code here so that peradventure, maybe during your own course of checking it, you now discover that the data is not stationary. You will look at this my code here. If non-stationary, take the first difference. How do we take the first difference? So the word DFF means differential derivative. So DFF, then you put the data there. Once you put the data there, then you instruct your R. I want the difference to be 1. You differentiate it for the first time. So by the time you differentiate it for the first time, then you plot the graph and you check the Dickey-Fuller test. Now let's say for instance, now I want to difference this particular data set, control R, control R. So let me check the head of the difference one that I have. Although the data is stationary, but I'm just starting to use this so that in case you have a data that is not stationary, so you can attain your stationarity by difference what the particular data set. So let's run this now, control R, control R. If you look at the heading of this one, okay, yeah, if you look at this heading now, you will see 0, 6, 2, 10, and so on and so forth. So it has difference this. It has difference. Let me even run the whole data set. Let's see how it's look like. Control R. Okay, so this is the whole data set. This is the whole data set. So after differencing, the first one here, if you look at this 2004, there's no data for R. So that means that's cut off after the first difference. Now, if you look at the second difference, the first difference for the February, we have 0. We have 0. Then for the March, we have 6. All those data that you are seeing, look at them. We have 2, we have 10, we have 23. So it has difference it. So that means that by the time you now do the first differential for the first difference, then you plot it and check for the stationarity. If you still discover that it is not stationary, you still go to difference it again until you attain your stationarity. It is very, very important that you have to attain the stationarity before you can use such data to build a model. It is very, very important. Let's say, for instance, now I just want to plot that data set I just difference now. Look at the graph. If you look at the graph of the difference, look at that graph. So some also enter negative. So that is the disadvantages of, okay, you've attained your difference, you've attained your stationarity, and you are still differencing that data again. It will misbehave. So immediately you attain your difference, your stationarity, you don't need to difference the data again. It is when you don't attain your stationarity that you are going to be differencing the data until you attain your stationarity. If you see some enter negative, some enter negative. Can you see now? Some enter negative, some enter negative, some enter negative, some enter negative. So it is very, very important to take note that once you attain your stationarity, you don't need to difference your data set anymore. It is so, so very, very important. So let's move on with our data. So let's come back again. So I just want to, that one is just to show us that in case if your data is not stationary, you can difference it to attain the stationarity point. So now, after we've confirmed that we have, using our augmented Dikifula test, we've confirmed that we have a data that is what? That is stationary, which is 0. This is 0.01, which is less than the alpha. Then the next thing is we want to build a time series model. Now, Mr. Lide is not online. He's not online. He came and he just left. He's not online now. Okay, we'll be checking watching the video again. Now, we have two ways of building your model in time series. Is either you fit it automatically. Automatically simply means that after you've confirmed that your data is stationary, you've attained the stationarity, you can give our instruction that this particular data set, I want to use the ARIMA model, but the ARIMA that I want to use, I don't know the points that I'm going to have the model that is suitable for this data, but do it automatically for me. That means that go through this data and fit all those models. You can have ARIMA 110, we can have ARIMA 210, we can have ARIMA 014, we can have ARIMA 012, we can have ARIMA 246. So, but you'll be, if you are taking this manually, you'll be the one to be checking those things yourself. You'll be the one to be checking those things yourself by after putting ARIMA 101. So that means that you are going to check for the model performance by checking the Akaike information criteria, the AIC, or you will check the Bayesian information criteria, BIC. So all those things are the metrics that we normally use to check for our model, to pick the best or the better model, the one that is good among the models that you've built. So by checking the minimum, the one with the minimum AIC, Akaike information criteria, then you can recommend that model that, okay, for this particular infectious disease, I have developed a model, the time series model that can predict the progress of this particular disease based on the knowledge of the time series, the knowledge of the data that you've collected over the period of time. But if you can give auto instruction to perform that for you automatically instead of you selecting it manually. So that is one of the advantages of the artificial intelligence. So you can give the instruction. One of the advantages of the machine learning, you can give the instruction, do this for me automatically, but your own assignment is that the data that you are giving your model must be a data that is stationarity, that has attained the stationarity point, so in time series. So it will be easier for the algorithm or for the model, for the machine to quickly fix the model that is suitable for the particular data set. So we are going to be using that. So the model that we want to build is the ARIMA model. ARIMA simply means autoregressive integrated moving average. This is one of the models in time series, autoregressive integrated moving average. So we're going to, so I use auto.arima. Assuming that I want to do it myself, I will not put the auto there. I'm still going to show us the manual one. I'm not going to put the auto here, but for this one, it is I'm putting the auto. So Control R, Control R. So now, if you look at this, can you see this screen? So let me know whether we're on the same page.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So now, if you look at this, this is the model now. The model that you have fitted for this particular data is the ARIMA 010. Arima, what's 010, and then I have 002, then I have 12. 12 here means that you have January to December. So that is from January to December. Now, what is the breakdown of this? Look at this particular Arima that you are seeing here. The Arima, the AR is what we call the auto-regressive. Auto-regressive. So the auto-regressive for this particular model is 0. So the AR is equals to 0. Then the integrated here means that for us to attain a particular model that is good for this particular data set, you have to differentiate it with 1. So that means that you have to undergo difference of 1. So that in building this automatically model, so the R, the what's it called, the model difference this just 1, and then the moving average, we have the 0 moving average. So now we have the coefficients. We have the coefficient for the first one here. We have the SMA1, SMA2. That is the reason why you're having these two here. So this one is just telling us that the seasonal moving average 1 and seasonal moving average 2. Okay, now what we really need here is this. Look at this AIC that you are seeing here. Look at the AIC here. We have the first one here is to be 4,192.59. Look at this one. We have 4,192.69. This is the corrected one. This is the raw AIC. Now we have information criteria. So Bayesian information criteria. So if you are the one, if the client is giving you this particular data set and it's telling you that it is a time series data set, by you checking it, and you just so please I come to you so that I want to develop a particular model that can that can do that can fit in for this my data set. So by the time you carry out all these steps, then you can recommend Arima 010. So Arima 010 is a model, is a perfect model. Let me use the word perfect. It is let me put it has high precision for this particular data set. So with this now, let's say for instance now you have the outbreak of a disease like a, let's say, cholera or COVID-19 or some other that, so, and then you've observed the data over the year. Then as a researcher, as a data scientist, you can bring the data and write paper with it and develop a model that best fitting to undo anything called cholera or anything called COVID-19 disease, or anything called Lassa fever, or anything called what's it called, tuberculosis, or what's it called, the I'm trying to remember this my infectious disease that I'm working with. No. Diabetes, sorry, or diabetes, And then if you are the one that you are into, you are not in health, you can check, okay, maybe in finance, you can develop a model that can predict the rising and the falling of dollars by getting what's it called, by getting the data set that about the rising of dollar over the year. You can get a data set of like 20 years, you can get a data set of like 30 years. Then after that, then you check for the stationarity of that data set, you plot it and you make sure that that data is stationary. So from there now, you can do what? You can develop a model that can predict or forecast. Let me put forecast, because in time series we don't use predict, we use forecast. So you can forecast a model. You can, once you develop a model, then you can forecast whether in the next 1 year. And then the best bet is that if you are forecasting, the highest is 2 years. Once you develop a model, if you use it to forecast for 2 years, so at least it will still give you a reasonable forecast. So from there, you can know whether in the next coming year, let's say 2026, there's going to be dollar price is going to decrease. So that if you have your dollar with you now, you can quickly sell it out. Or in the next 1 year, the dollar price is going to high. So that if you have a dollar with you, you can hold it till there. So by developing a model, the model can do that for you. I don't know, maybe you are still with me. Are you still with me, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So any question? Let me have
Yes,
the
sir.
question. Because this is a practical class. You still be the one to extract data yourself and do it. That's why I'm giving you a bulk data so you can work with it. Okay, go ahead with your question, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Can you hear me?
Can hear you. I can hear you. I just
Can
want to mute myself so that
so,
I can hear you very well. Yes, I
okay,
can hear you.
so
Go ahead.
my first question is this. Um, for taking difference um of a data set to attain stationary, is it the same thing as when we say we take log of a data set in SPSS to attain normality? That's question number one. Number two, um for this
Let,
model modeling.
let me be answering this one by one. Let me be
Okay,
taking it
sir.
one by one.
All right, sir.
Okay. Like I mentioned the other time, the stationarity in time series is the same thing. It's more like the normality that we check in normal our regression analysis, our chi-square, our what's it called, our analysis of variance, the F test, the T test, and some other tests like that. So, but in time series, we call it stationarity. So you know that if you check, if you get a particular data set and then you check for the normality and you discover that it is not normal, so that means that you are going to do what is that you do the transformation by taking the log transform, or you take the exponential transform, or you take the inverse transform. We have several transformation of transforming the data to be normal. So after doing the transformation, then you can still check again whether that data is normal by using different method of checking the normality, like the augmented Dikifula test that we are using in time series. In the normal test, you can use Shapiro-Wilkie test. If your data set is less than 30, you use the Shapiro-Wilkie test. But if your data set is greater than 30, so that means that you're going to use the Kolmogorov-Smirnov test. So the normality test is in that sense, but in time series, we call it the stationarity. So that is number one. I don't know, maybe I'm clear with the number one question.
Yes, I said the question I'm asking is that is taking the difference in time series, is it the same thing as taking log in a normal analysis?
Yes, when you take the log, what do you want to attain? You want to attain the normality. When you take the difference,
Normality.
what do you want to attain? You want to attain stationarity. So it's the same. It's the same.
All right, thank you, sir. So my second question in modeling, when you run the code to for the for how to bring out for Arima to determine which of the Arima is will be suitable for this model. Then we have the result. So now, what are those things that we're supposed to look out for to be able to say, fine, in Arima, this is Arima 101 or Arima 001, this that is suitable for this model. What are those things that we are supposed to look out for? You just told us about the value in SMA2, then other one. So what are the values? Is there any value or anything that we're supposed to look out for? Just like when we say to attain stationary, the p-value must be less than 0.05. So is there some other things that we need to look out for to be able to say, fine, for this is model this type of armor is suitable for this modeling. Do you get my question?
Yes, I do. Very well. Yes, I do. So let me go back to the output of the R programming language that we have. I hope you can see my output and you can hear my voice. Now, in building this particular model, I told us that we check for the AIC, Academic Information Criteria. Then the one with the least or the minimum AIC. Let me put it like that. The minimum AIC is a better model. We don't have best model, so that you're not going to be saying that we have best model. We don't have best model. So, but we have a better model. So let's say, for instance, that you are entering in manually, which we are going to be doing now. You'll be getting different AIC. So you get to a point whereby you attain a minimum AIC. Then if you move further, the AIC will just go up. So at that point that you reach, that the AIC is minimal before you now move up again. That is the best model for that particular data, or better model for that particular data. So we use the criteria of the AIC and then the BIC, archaic information criteria, and then the Bayesian information criteria. We also have other criteria like the root mean square, like the one we have here, the root mean square, and some other thing that we have here. But majorly we consider the AIC and then the BIC. And then this log likelihood is the lower the log likelihood, the better the model. So, and then the lower the AIC, the better the model. Are we still together, please?
Yes, thank you, sir.
I don't know, maybe I'm clear.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm trying to check that. Okay, are you clear with that simple explanation, ma?
Yes, but one more question. For the
Please go ahead, please.
ARIMA, how many, I don't know, how many stop do we have for ARIMA? Like, I'm seeing 010, 22. So how many ARIMA do we have? Is it 10? Is it 15? Or are we just to continue inputting the ARIMA code?
No,
Then how do
we're not
we,
going to
sorry,
continue.
then how do we know
Go ahead.
the code? So how do we know the code to enter? Are we to start from 001, then we'll now move to 002, or how? Or is there any constant code for this ARIMA, I mean?
There's no constant code. There's no constant code. But the one thing that you first of all notice is the one at the middle. We have just three. We have the AR, which is autoregressive. We have R, which is integrated. Then we have AM, which is moving average. Now, you have to first of all discover the I, which is the integrated. Integrated simply means that it's the number of times that you difference before you attain your stationarity. Did you get that one?
Yes, sir.
So if it is two times that you difference this particular data set to attain your stationarity, so that means that at your middle here will be two. So it is only this and this, the first one and the last one that will be changing. You will you put the two, you put the middle to be two. Now, after you have one, you can say you are starting from 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. Then you have 0, 1, 1. You have 0, 1, 2. You have 0, 1, 3. You have 0 up to the 0, 1, 9. Then you cannot put that, okay, I'm having 1, 1, 0. So that is why the manual computation is no longer advisable, because in traditional method, before they come out with this, developing the auto ARIMA that was going to fit in, that's going to show you the best fitting for the model. So they normally use the manual before. As I'm saying, they can just go to the Excel and then they will just run between this and this, and they started picking it from there. But now that we have auto fitting, we can quickly do that. So once you attain your difference, which is the middle one, then it is only this, the first one and the last one, that will be changing. I don't know, maybe I'm clear with that.
Yes, sir. So what's the usefulness of the other values, the 0002 and the 12? Okay, you said the 12 is the month, which is 12. So but the one for
Yes, it's
002,
the month. You have 12, that's the 12.
I know the 12. The one for 002, what's the
Now,
usefulness of that?
the one for 002 will produce a coefficient called seasonal moving average 1, seasonal moving average 2. Now, before it stops, it's going to check whether there is still a better performance than the current one that he has. If you look at the season moving average 1 for here, we have the coefficient will be minus 0.89. Sorry, minus 0.8987. But since it is automatic, it look beyond the one that is looking beyond the next one. So it's discovered that there is another one that can still produce a number that is better than the first one. So instead of now moving to 3 now, so it's attained that, okay, trying to check for 3, discover that 2 is even better than what? Than 3. So that's why it stopped at this particular point. So this is the coefficient of what? Of this particular model that we have. You have the SMA 1 and SMA what? SMA 2. So if you are interpreting this now, so the coefficient of this model is 0.1159. And then the standard error is what? 0.0792, because you attain that at SMA 2. So you still need to read further on this. So when you have any problem, you can contact. Are we still on the same page?
Thank you, sir. You can move forward.
Okay. Adike, are you still with us?
Yes, sir.
You don't have question. You did not ask question. What happened tonight?
So my network has been, like, if you noticed, I've been going on and off. I don't know what's wrong with this network.
I don't think the network is general actually. The problem is the general problem. So I have to be switching between two.
It because some of the things you were telling me at DDS, I could not hear them.
Oh, okay. Okay. No problem. You are going to watch the video again so that you can get it. Okay. So that is for that. Now, then we cannot do the forecast. Remember that we've fixed the model. The model is what we have here. So I want to use the model now to what? To forecast for 12 months, which is a year. So that means that if I'm stopping at 2024, I want to forecast for 2025. If I'm stopping at 2025, I want to forecast for 2026. So by the time I do that, so Control R. Oh, sorry, we've done this before. Forecast now. Can you see this graph? Can you see this my forecast graph?
Yes, sir.
So, what is this? This one is telling us. Now, can you see this graph now?
Yes, sir.
I want us to be on the same page. Now, look at this. This blue one that you are seeing here is the forecast. This blue one that you are seeing is the what? Is the forecast. So this one is telling us that, let's say, for instance, now, is in this particular data set is in form of the cases of tuberculosis. So that means that in 2025, there will be a decrease, because this blue line that you are seeing is not above the last one that you are seeing here. So that means that there's going to be a decrease, or there is a decrease in the cases of tuberculosis, maybe because of the intervention and some other thing that they put in place. Now, assuming that this blue one that you are seeing is above this, so that means that there is an increase. That if you don't take care of this tuberculosis, this thing will keep on increasing, and it's going to cause more a large mortality. Now, let's say in terms of price, let's say you are checking for dollar. So that means that the way I'm looking at this, my data set, this model is predicting that in 2025, there will be a decrease in dollar. So if you have your dollar with you now, start selling it out. But let's say, for instance, now, if you have this one to be increasing, like this blue one here that you are seeing, is above this and is going up. So that means that what's it called? The price or the power of dollar is going to increase in 2025. So if you have money now, start buying dollar and start keeping it. That is what this model is telling us. So it's forecasting for the future based on the past data that you are feeding it with. Assuming that your data is not, you have not attained stationarity in your data set. If you are building this particular model, you are going to be having a wrong, what's it called, wrong forecast that you are going to be implementing. Let us now say that you have a model now that is telling that the price of dollar will be decreased, and the one that you have in your hand, you've sold everything out, and in 2025 you now discover that the data the price of dollar is now going up. So that means that the data is not performing very well. That means that the data is the precision of that data is wrong. That means that the information that you bring out from that data and you are trying to implement it is wrong. It has caused a lot. It will have caused a lot of damages lost. So that is why, as a data scientist, I'm not talking about the data analyst now. I'm not talking about the roadside quack analyst. I'm talking about the data scientist now. You have to understand your data very well, and you have to attain the stationarity before you can use your data to predict or to forecast. Don't let them tell you that I want it to be positive when your data is saying that it is negative. Please and please, as a data and a scientist, you have to stand for truth. Tell them what the data is saying. Don't tell them what they want to hear. Tell them what the data is what is saying. Because last week someone came to meet me that he brought one particular data that is he has extracted from the lab. And after we've run the analysis and we check some other tests that we need to check, so the data is saying it is not significant. So that means that that disease that is looking for is not present in that particular experiment. So she was like, and I want this thing to be present. Oh, no, no, no. I just told her that it is research. That's why we call it research. Research can be positive, can be negative. So it is when you now want it to be positive at all costs. That is why all these roadside analysts, the quack analysts, they will put it there for you to be what? To be positive at all costs. Then by the time you are implementing such research, you'll be misleading people. Let's now say, for instance, now you do not attain stationarity for this particular data set. So that means that this prediction that you are having here, that the dollar is going to be decreased. I'm just using that as an example. That means that it is wrong. That means that in that coming year, dollar will be increased. And at the end of the day, if you now base your decision on this, that means that you are making a wrong decision. Any question, please?
No, sir, from my side.
Any question, please? Tonight's class is purely practical. You are not going to see any of my slides, seeing any formula tonight. It's purely practical. So any question, Ibukun, Mama Adebisi, about the forecast?
No question, sir.
No question from my side.
Oh, okay. Okay. So let's move on, please. Okay. So now let us now say I want to fit just autoregressive 2 for this model. If I'm fitting the autoregressive 2 for this model, look at this. The order is 2000. Can you see it now? The order simply means that the AR, then the integrator is 0. The integrator is 0 and the moving average is 0. So instead of me writing this, I can just say I want to fit AR2. So that means the order one will be what? Will be 0. Now, if you look at this, control R, then let's see the summary. Look at this summary. Look at our AIC here. Can you see this AIC?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's still move on to. Now, because I specified 2 here, so it produced the first coefficient for the first one, autoregressive 1. We have the coefficient to be 0.9531. For autoregressive 2, we have the coefficient to be minus. Now, let us change the autoregressive 2 to be 1. Let's look at the performance. Let us find AR1. Control R, Control R, Control R. Look at the AR1. Look at the AR1 and the AIC for AR1 and the AIC for AR2. For the AR2, we have 4332.79. Then for the AR1, we have a 4331. So that means that the AR1 perform better with this data than AR2 by checking the AIC. Are you still with me, please?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Okay, so sir, the lower the value, the better it is.
Yes. The lower the AIC, the better the model. Did you get it now? Immediately I
Yes,
check this
sir.
and I'm seeing the coefficient of the AR2. After the AR1, I'm seeing the coefficient of AR2 to be negative. I know that. Let me go back to AR1 and see the performance. Did you get it now? So
Yes, sir.
manually, this is how you are going to be doing it. Manually, this is how you are going to be doing it. So that means that your AR2 cannot work for this data. It can work, but it's not the best. You can still get the best. So by checking this particular AIC. So now let's go further. Let me fit the AMA 0 and 1. So that means that the AR here, autoregressive, is 0, and then the MA. Remember, I did not put R here. It is not ARIMA. It is called AMA. So although the function is still inside the ARIMA, it's just the order that I'm going to what? I'm not going to put if I'm putting the order here. But the function is still the what? Is still the ARIMA. If you look at this one too, that I fitted here is the ARIMA. But in the ARIMA, you are going to specify the order. So the order now is what? 1 year means that take the AR to be 1. 0 year means that the integrated is 0. And then the moving average is 0. So if you're having 0 for integrated, 0 for the moving average, automatically the what you are trying to fix is ordinary AR, which is autoregressive. Now, coming back to this now, I want to fit ARM8, which is called the AMA. So in fitting the AMA, it's still the same function of ARIMA I'm going to use. But in selecting my order, so that means that I'm having 0, the autoregressive to be 0, the integrated to be 0, but fix, what's it called for me? Fix the moving average to be equal to 1. So if I run this particular one now, Control R, Control R, Control R. If you look at this AIC, can you see that we have the IAIC here? This is 4,559.67 compared to the normal AR. Compared to the ARIMA what? What is that? This particular ARIMA now? Anybody? The one that is just fixed now. ARIMA what? I will call it. What will be the name? ARIMA what? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. But I don't get the question.
You said
We can hear you,
this
but like
particular
I don't
one.
understand the question.
Okay. Now this particular model here, this particular model that we have the AIS to be 4331.24. What type of ARIMA model is the ARIMA what? Is it ARIMA 001? Is it ARIMA 451? Is it ARIMA 612? What type of ARIMA is this? When you want to know, you check the order.
Arima
Look at this.
100.
This
Arima 100.
ARIMA 100. Yes, ARIMA 100. Ibukun, did you get it or I should explain?
Yes, I got it, sir.
So it is ARIMA 100. Now, if you look at the one that we just fitted now, is ARIMA what? This one that has 4,595 points, 5,559.67 AIC. What type of ARIMA is this?
Arima
Ibukun?
001.
ARIMA 001. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that ARIMA is still the what? It's still the function that we are using in fitting all those model here. But the only thing is that the order is going to be changing. It's going to be what? It's going to be changing. So now, so if you fit this ARIMA 013, Control R, Control R, Control R. So now the autoregressive is 0, the difference is 1, and then the moving average is 3. Can we see the AIC? The AIC is what? 4324.48. Now, let's check the auto that we fitted the other time. Auto.fit. Look at the AIC for auto.fit. And look at the AIC that we have for the ARIMA 013. So that is why it's advisable that you just give the instruction to your what's it called, to your machine that fits this automatically for me. Because although you will attain the same answer when you are doing it manually, but it's going to take time. It's going to take time. So for the one that it just filled for us now, that it fitted for us now, is the what? ARIMA 010. That is for that. Any question on that?
No, sir.
Okay. Ibukun, any question on that?
So I'm going to ask question, but I'll have to watch it again. So I'm going to reach out to you, sir.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. No problem. Now, another one is what we call the Sarima model. The Sarima model just inculcates the seasonal form into the ARIMA. Let's say you are having a seasonal data set, like the rainfall, like the weather. So let's say, can you give me a data that relating to seasonal? Can you give me an example of any data that relates to seasonal? Anybody?
You can say sales of mango.
Okay. The sales of
or
mango. Okay, the sales of, okay, good,
or the season,
good.
the time that we have abundance of onions,
Uh,
or abundance of agbalumo.
yes, yes. So the reason why I'm just putting this here is that you may have a seasonal data set that is not monthly data set that you have. It may just be okay every 4 months, every 4 months, every 4 months, or every 2 years. That is not something that is constant. So we normally use what we call the Sarima. So Sarima may not fit in for this particular data set that we have, because this is a monthly data set. But I just want to bring this in here, and I'm still searching if I can get a seasonal data set, because I checked the weather forecast. If I can receive their data there to download, but I'm still trying to navigate myself out to get the data set. So once I get the data for the seasonal, it's going to be sweet using a Sarima model for that. So we're going to keep that for now. Well, let me quickly run this. Let's see. It may not perform very well, child. So if you look at this, the decrease here that is forecasting is very, very low compared to the one that we have in the ARIMA. If you look at this decrease, very, very low compared to that. So it may not really represent the, it may not suitable for this particular data set, because this particular data set is not a seasonal data set. So in case if you have seasonal data set, just put it at the back of your mind that there is a model called the Sarima model, seasonal auto-regressive integrated moving average. Seasonal auto-regressive integrated moving average. We normally use this to do what? To fit the seasonal data. And then lastly, for tonight is what I call the prophet. The prophet. When I ran the data this afternoon and I got the output, and I put it on my status, and I put it there that prophet. People, I got some messages that prophet. What did I mean by prophet? That is the name of that model. It was developed by the Facebook. So Facebook, they have like data sets, and they need a good model that can handle it, that can forecast. Okay, in the next 2 hours, what will be the response of people what will be the number of people on Facebook? Okay, so that it helps them to expand. If you discover that we have a lot of features now on Facebook, on WhatsApp, because Facebook also control WhatsApp. So it is the prophet that they've developed that algorithm, that model called prophet. So it's telling them every minute that okay, in the next 2 minutes there will be the increase in Facebook would be so number, and then this is what they have been searching for. This is what they will be looking for. So it's make them prepare ahead. If you discover now that they've monetized, what's it called? They've monetized Facebook. So it's based on the data that they have that okay, maybe the majority of people are now moving, they now stay focused on those apps that pay. Let's say maybe if you have blue tick on what's it called on Twitter, maybe yeah, they have to pay you more. So you have to get more money compared to Facebook. So they discovered that okay, majority of people are now moving to Twitter, or majority of people are now moving to the TikTok or some apps that they pay. So that is why the prophet tell the prophet will just tell them that okay, we have decreased in the number of people in this social area. So that's why they have to come up with a strategy that can help people, that can draw people to the Facebook back. So that's why they put it okay. Let us monetize the excuse me, let us monetize it so that more people can come. Yeah, they are not the one doing it. They have the algorithm already. So one of the algorithms that they have is what we call Prophet. So we normally use Prophet. You know, Facebook they have they have millions of data over years, so they have time series data. So they make use of time series a lot. So that is why they develop a called a Prophet. So now it's still the same procedure that we convert this so that Prophet can understand the data. So remember that we have the data long already. So R control R control R control R control R. Then we can fit the Prophet. Remember, we've loaded the package called Prophet up. We've loaded the package called what called Prophet up. I just need the forecast from the Prophet. Let us look at it. Can you see this graph?
Yes, sir.
This is what we call the Prophet graph. This is a Prophet model. So after you've attained your stationarity, if you look at this blue line that you are seeing here, it's telling you the trend of your data set, the trend of your data set, the trend of your data set, the trend of your data set. So that means that what Prophet is saying here is that by 20, as this data is going, that means that there is a decrease. Assuming that like this one, it's based on disease. So that means that initially the disease picked up. So maybe because of some intervention that they've applied, it brings out the disease. So it's going down small. So in 2025, if they still continue with the what? With those intervention, they still have the low until they will get to zero. So by the time the disease enters zero, that means that it is disease free. We're in the free state. So let us now say that such occurrence now happen in the nearest future. They can quickly go back to this particular journal. Let's say you've published a journal on this. They can quickly go back. Okay, in this also years, this particular person published a journal that okay, when this particular disease occur, these are the intervention that they apply that brought the disease down drastically. So they can also do that here. So what Mr. Prophet is telling us is that this particular data set that you have and you are asking me to forecast it, it's going to be going down. It's going to be going down. Let's say it is the price in market. So let us now say you that you've bought a 20 or 40 bags of rice that you are expecting that is going to increase, but you don't have the previous data. That is why those people in the market that they say sometimes they make use of time series, but they don't know. They'll be telling themselves, the last year rice was sold at the rate of this, previous year rice was sold at the rate of this. Over the year that we have been observing this, the price of rice has been coming down when it's come to December. That's why they can buy more. Let us now say, okay, December we've discovered that the price of rice used to go up because of the season, because of the festival. So by the June, July, they will go and buy more rice, and then by December they will sell it. So they make use of what we call the forecast, but they don't know based on the previous knowledge that they have. The previous, it's just that they did not document it because their previous knowledge is the data that they did not document, but they think that okay, they have it on their head. In the last 5 years, the basket of tomato was sold for 20,000. In the last 4 years, it was sold for this part in the last clinical year. So they will start bringing those years together, and on their head, they have formulated the model on their head. At the end of the day, they will now predict that, okay, this coming year, the tomato price, the price of tomato will increase. So it's better for us to go and buy the tomato and save it, so that in the next year we can sell it more, and then with higher price, and then we can gain. And then it may come in the next year and the price will just go down, and they will roll into loss. So they also do forecasting, but their own forecast is just they don't have that data that they can work with, but they just believe that, okay, we have it on our head, and it's beyond putting it on your head. It's you putting it down and let people see it, what you can do. So this is where we are going to stop tonight. So any question, please?
Black lines. What do they mean?
Oh, okay. The black line is simply telling us that the how scatter abode are those data sets. How will I put it? I'm trying to look at the language. Let me use the language that
Or
you understand.
do they have any
Let me
different
use the language.
our forecast?
Actually, we've attained the stationarity. Are you getting me now? This one is just telling us the movement of those data sets. It's like if I draw a line here, this line will pick this one, we come back to the next one, we move there, we move here, and then we come back to that. So I'm trying to look for a simple in English. I'm using statistical word. I'm using statistical word. I'm coming. What English can I use? Oh, okay. The blue line is a trend. What about the black line? Oh, um, Okay, Ibukun, let me get back to you on this, so I can look for a simple term that I can use, so that you will get it. You will get it.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir, please, this prophet, can we also use it for an outbreak of disease?
Yes, this particular data that you are seeing here is a disease. This is a cases of COVID-19. So you
Oh,
can use it for an outbreak of this. Yes,
okay.
once you have the data, you can use it. But the good part of time series is that you must have a time-based data. Unlike the model that we quickly need to check whether the disease will affect thousands of people. I don't know maybe what I'm trying to say. This one is after the disease has occurred. Okay, in the subsequent year, what are the things that we've put in places that make us this disease to come down? But if you need a particular model that can capture with the current outbreak of disease, I would advise that you go for the exponential, or you go for the gamma model, or you go for the GOMPA model. So those are statistical model. I don't know if you attended the last class. I mentioned some statistical model like the gamma model, the exponential model, the GOMPA model. So those are the ones that you can quickly use for the rapid intervention to check the movement of a disease outbreak. But this time series data, this time series plot, the prophet and some other things, they field more on the large data set, which are based on the time. I don't know, maybe I've answered this question a bit.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other
Please, I have
question?
a question.
Ma?
I have a question.
Any other question? Please go ahead,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
DPC.
So, I want to know this prophet, unlike the
Okay,
Harima, that we need to
okay.
check which of the Harima model is fit for the modeling, checking the 001, 101. So, prophets, we don't need to do that, because I noticed that we didn't set any auto stuff for the prophet. We just ran it directly.
Yes, for the, the reason why I brought in prophet here is that it's just to back up my prediction that I have before. We have a prediction using the Arima model. The first prediction that we have.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes,
Are you
sir.
still with me?
Yes,
Now,
yes.
after bringing in prophet, if the prophet now saying that this thing will go up, that means that we have to go and check that our model again and see whether if it is prophet that is something is wrong with the prophet, or the what's it called? our previous model, but they are saying the same thing, that there will be a decrease, and then that particular model too is saying there will be a decrease. So Prophet is like, we're using Prophet to validate that one that we have. So I've not really gone through deep in Prophet. Maybe I can, maybe yeah, that's another assignment for me. So I'm going to read about the Prophet more, because the reason why I'm bringing the Prophet here is mostly if I want to use Prophet, I normally use it to validate the plots that I have, the prediction that I have in a normal Arima, Sama, and some other models like that. But now I will read further to know whether I can formulate a model from Prophet that can also perform the way the Arima and some other model perform. Did you get it, ma?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, any other question, please?
Sorry, my question is to Madam Ibuku. Is she online?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, online, ma'am.
Please, ma, I hope you follow the training that our tutor taught you before I joined. You come and teach me when I'm ready. Since he said he didn't record from the onset.
No. That one is no. That one is Madam Ibuku personal. He's just asking me for some projects, one of his work. So it's just based
Oh,
on logistics and some
oh
other
no,
thing.
you not
So it's not
started
for
any
this.
job like
No. We've not. So I just use that one to buy time. So that I'm
that.
waiting for one or two people to join again, so that we can start.
Oh,
So then
okay, okay.
you didn't miss out anything. You did not miss out
Okay, all right,
anything. You did not miss out anything.
all right.
So our next class
Thank you
is
so
coming. So please go through that slide, and then go through the code, and then the data that I sent to our group. Please work with it. So the next class now, we're going to be going into deep machine learning proper. So please prepare your mind. And I don't know, maybe Mommy Adebisi attended the last class. I mentioned something that after I've checked the curriculum, I discovered that that time that we have cannot cover it, so I have to extend it.
Yes,
So please
yes,
just
yes.
permit me like that. So please just
You said
permit me. I'm going to use 1 week, or I'm going to 1.5 weeks. So I just want us to cover that syllabus, so that I will know that if I'm recommending someone, okay, go and meet Dr. Ibukun. She can handle this for you. So I know that I'm sure of what the person I'm recommending. So and the same thing with, go and meet Mommy Adebisi. She'll be able to do this for you. So I want to equip us with necessary uh knowledge that we need for this advanced class. Remember, you started with the beginner. Beginner has turned to intermediate. So intermediate is now in advanced class. So please and please, I will take 1.5 week from us again, so that we can cover up the syllabus. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your commitment. And then please help
that.
us tell
I hope
others.
you will send us the code for tonight's class.
I'm going to send it. I'm going to send it now, because if I say I will send it later, Mama, you understand me? You God have mercy on me. So please help us tell others, please. We're having our coming training next this month,
Okay.
March 14. So please and please help us preach the gospel of our data.
Yeah,
So
okay,
thank you
sir.
so much.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. I currently have about like
So
2 or 3 friends that has probably joined the class. And
you
I'm going
said,
to do it. I think I actually have about like 2 or 3 friends that has joined the class. I mean for the course too.
okay, they've not. So it's just the free. I have to we have to do some free
Oh,
class to
oh
give people
they can
assurance
wait for
of what
no.
they want to learn.
Oh,
Yes, so you can help me, you can still help me tell them, so that they can have the knowledge of what they want to learn. So and
okay.
then the teaching method, if they can work with the teaching method and some other things. So that is why I normally give free. So if you now think that, okay, I love this teaching method, at least for this free, I was able to gain this, then they can buy into that idea. So that I don't want the situation whereby they will now go outside and be telling others that, don't know data school, they don't teach anything there, they don't know anything there. I don't want that. So that's
No,
why I will give them free.
nobody can actually
I'll
say
give
that.
them free.
It's
So I'll give them free. So I'll give them free, so that after that they can work with others. So thank you so much, Madam Ibukun. So
Yeah, I
if
have
you have
question. Sorry,
any
before
difficulty, you have question. Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
it's not a question per se, it's a request.
Okay,
So
go
I
ahead.
don't know if Madam Ibukun too is in support of that. I'm looking at for we constant funds, if there will be anything for us for this second cohort, if we're willing to join.
Anything like what, ma?
Anything like discounts for this upcoming second cohort.
Do you want to attend
For the
second
premium.
cohort again? Do you want to attend second cohort again?
I think
That's why I said we are planning.
I think what she meant was that you said that in this second cohort, one
Okay.
they'll be
No,
working with
no, I
real.
mean the upcoming one.
Okay, wait. Let me stop streaming. Let me stop recording so that we can discuss it proper. Okay, now you have the floor.
I'm saying this